Pokémon, I became a principal and hired Liu Bo as a teacher. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 126, Green Comes to Help. This is Mega Evolution. Zhang Xian on the other side exclaimed when he saw the scene. Pokemon that were originally unable to evolve again. Isn't this the Mega Evolution mastered by Green? It's just that Kinglu uses Mega Stone and Keystone and she used the potion developed by their Dark Association. The Violent Salamander has evolved again. Looking at the scene in front of him, Long Zhangyang said in disbelief in Heishi's hands. The Violent Salamander evolved again, waiting for the light of evolution to dissipate. A violent salamander that Long Zhangyang had never seen appeared and soaring in the sky. Compared with a previous violent salamander, the evolved violent salamander is even larger. The wings on its back are in the shape of a semicircular arc, and there is something similar to white armor on the chest. His eyes radiated this scarlet gaze. Ha ha, I didn't expect it, Aaron. My violent salamander can actually evolve again. Seeing Long Zhangyang's expression of disbelief, she couldn't be happier. What's this? Long Zhangyang asked with a serious expression. 790. It is not difficult to guess that the re-evolution of the violent salamander is related to the injection he just used on the violent salamander. Ha. This is the Mega Evolution potion that our Dark Association extracted from meteorite. As long as you inject the Pokemon into it, you can make the Pokemon undergo incredible changes again. She proudly explained to Long Zhangyang, but it concealed a lot of information. The Mega Evolution potion can indeed allow Pokemon to evolve again, but not all Pokemon can. Only a small number of Pokemon can evolve again after being injected with this Mega Evolution potion. Moreover, the Mega Evolution potion is a one-time use and very rare, so using one will save you one. If it weren't for Long Zhangyang's rival this time, he wouldn't be willing to use it. Has the technology of the Dark Association surpassed that of the Alliance? After hearing Heishi's explanation, Long Zhangyang became even more worried. No matter what Heishi said is true or false, at least for now, the Dark Association has mastered technology that their alliance doesn't know about. Aaron, be careful, it's Mega Evolution. At this moment, Zhang Xian got rid of the Dark Association members who were pestering him, drove Noivern to Long Zhangyang, and reminded Long Zhangyang. Having seen the green Mega Evolution, Zhang Xian knew that the Pokemon after Mega Evolution would undergo qualitative changes. Mega Evolution. Hearing Zhang Xian's reminder, Aaron glanced at Zhang Xian doubtfully. Kinglu also has the power of Mega Evolution, and he relied on Mega Evolution to defeat the Elite Four in our East China Theater. Seeing Long Zhangyang, who looked confused, Zhang Xian slowly explained, what? Kinglu also has the power of Mega Evolution. After hearing Zhang Xian's explanation, Long Zhangyang's face became even uglier. Mega Evolution is currently only owned by the Dark Association, and Kinglu also owns Mega Evolution. Doesn't it mean that Kinglu is also a member of the Dark Association? I thought that their Pokemon Alliance would have one more general, but now the opponent turned out to be someone from the Dark Association. No. Xianhui is in danger. Thinking of this, Long Zhangyang's expression changed drastically. If Kinglu goes to support Fan Xiaya, isn't this accelerating Fan Xiaya's death? Aaron, don't worry, Kinglu is not from the Dark Association, although he also has Mega Evolution. Unlike Mikey from the Dark Association, he shouldn't be from the Dark Association. Zhang Xian told Aaron not to worry about Fan Xiaya. Green's Mega Evolution method is obviously different from Mikey's. If Green were a member of the Dark Association, there was no way he could show the power of Mega Evolution in front of them. Is that so? After hearing Zhang Xian's explanation, Aaron also believed him based on his understanding of Zhang Xian. If there was a problem with Kinglu, he would not come to his side immediately, but fly towards Fan Xiaya. Well, after President Chen Wu finishes his work, he will go to Evergreen College to ask Kong Xian about Mega Evolution. Zhang Xian nodded and replied, Zhang Xian, it just so happens that we will solve it for you today. At this moment, seeing Zhang Xian coming, she, who had Mega Evolution, was extremely excited and wanted to solve the two champions Long Zhangyang and Zhang Xian together. Savage Salamander uses Dragon Breath. She immediately commanded the violent newt to use dragon breath to spray towards the two of them. Following She's command, a scorching dragon flame interrupted the conversation between Long Zhangyang and Zhang Xianayu. It's over, Xiaoya, Honchgrao. Uses Dark Pulse. At the same time, on the other side of the battlefield, Fan Xia fought against her teacher Zhu Yu, and both lost. Bang! A sound. Honchgrao's Dark Pulse accurately bombarded Fan Xia's body. I saw Fan Xia falling quickly towards, soaring in the sky like a kite with a broken string. Is it over? Looking up at soaring in the sky, Fan Xia closed her eyes tightly and welcomed her death. Roar. Just then a dragon roar sounded in her ears. Then I felt like I was being caught by some creature and flew towards, soaring in the sky. Fan Xia slowly opened her eyes, and what came into view was a Charizard and a boy. It's him. Looking at the young man in front of her, Fan Xia murmured, "This young man is none other than Qing Lu, who came to support." Chapter 127, Hot Pursuit. Your Excellency King Lu. Looking at the boy in front of her, Fan Xia regained some of her strength and used Psychic to land on Charizard's back. I thought I would die like this, but unexpectedly King Lu came to my rescue. "Well, are you okay?" King Lu nodded and asked him. Fortunately, he arrived in time, otherwise this elite from the West China Theater would have disappeared. "I'm fine, thank you Mr. King Lu for saving me." Fan Xia stood on Charizard's back, put her hands in front of her, and bowed slightly to King Lu in thanks. Hearing that Fan Xia was okay, King Lu did not continue to speak but directed Charizard to attack Zhu Yu. This old woman is his rival this time. "You are the King Lu who has been rumored a few days ago and is known as the world's #1 genius. Let me see what you are capable of." Honchgrao uses Dark Pulse. Krobit uses Supersonic. Seeing King Lu coming, Zhu Yu immediately directed Honchgrao and Krobit to attack King Lu. "Be careful, Mr. King Lu. Teachers Huayu was once a evil type elite of Alliance. This Honchgrao and Krobit are both champion-level Pokemon." Fan Xia reminded King Lu with some worry. "Although my teacher is an evil type elite, in addition to evil type, she is also good at other Pokemon. For example, this poison type and flying type Krobit." King Lu nodded slightly and responded, "Except for Charizard and Pidgeot, none of the Pokemon he carries can fly in the air battle. He will use Charizard to fight these two Pokemon at the same time. We must protect ourselves and Fan Xia's safety. The degree of difficulty is not small. In this case, Charizard, let's transcend evolution." King Lu decisively showed off the Mega Evolution Watch on her wrist. The key on the Mega Evolution Watch resonated with a Mega Evolution Stone, and Charizard was surrounded by a milky white light of evolution. Seeing this scene, Fan Xia covered her mouth in shock and looked at King Lu in disbelief. Charizard has evolved again. The same goes for Zhu Yu on the other side, whose face is gloomy and scary. Mega Evolution. He actually also has the power of Mega Evolution. Zhu Yu was extremely shocked. The new power that their Dark Association just developed was mastered so quickly. Waiting for the light to dissipate, a Pokemon that looked very similar to Charizard soared in the air. Compared to Charizard, this Pokemon's wings are wider. At the same time, the weather in this soaring in the sky also changed to sunny day. Roar. Charizard, who had just evolved, roared at Krobit, directly shattering Krobit's ultrasonic waves. Then a stream of flames shot out from Mega Charizard's mouth. The flames passed through Honchgrao's Dark Pulse without any hesitation and hit Honchgrao with a scream. Honchgrao fell rapidly downwards. Fortunately, the previous Dark Pulse offset some of the power of the flames. After recovering, Honchgrao quickly adjusted his balance and flew up again. The burn marks on his body proved that Honchgrao had suffered serious injuries. Amazing. Seeing Charizard's performance, Fan Xia's eyes were filled with admiration. These two Pokemon defeated all of them, and Mr. King Lu managed to deal with them so easily, and it hit Honchgrao hard. "Who are you? Please give me flowers." Zhu Yu ignored Honchgrao, who was hit hard. Instead, he asked to King Lu, as he suspected that King Lu might be a genius secretly cultivated by their Dark Association. King Lu, a teacher at Evergreen College, currently serving as a gym trainer in the North China War Zone. Facing Zhu Yu's question, King Lu answered truthfully, "Evergreen Academy. Impossible. How can an academy master the power of Mega Evolution?" Hearing King Lu's answer, Zhu Yuman didn't believe it. Naturally, she had heard about Evergreen College. Their president had previously issued an order to capture their principal, Kong Xian, but now it seems that it has failed. But even so, he does not believe that Evergreen Academy has the power of Mega Evolution. Use Flamethrower in eruption, green. Directly commanded Charizard to attack regardless of whether the opponent believed it or not. The hot flames attacked Zuyu. Crobat. Air cutter, Honchkrow. Uses Dark Pulse, Zuyu was shocked when she saw this, and quickly commanded her two Pokemon to resist. Boom. An explosive roar sounded. Seeing that Crobat and Honchkrow successfully intercepted Charizard's attack, Zuyu breathed a sigh of relief. She also has the power of Mega Evolution, but you have to go to ground, Crobat. Let's go, Zuyu quickly directed Crobat to fly towards ground. The opponent also has the power of Mega Evolution. Only when she reaches ground can she have a chance of winning. Charizard, follow the quality. Seeing that the other party wanted to run away, how could King Lu follow her wishes and pursue her closely? P.S. The matter is settled. Period. Chapter 128, Pursuit. Damn it, looking at Charizard chasing after him, Zuyu gritted his teeth and cursed secretly. At this speed, Charizard would be chasing her before she hit the ground. Despite all the calculations, she didn't realize that the people in Alliance also possessed the power of Mega Evolution. Honchkrow. Dark Pulse harass him, Zuyu directed Honchkrow to harass King Lu because he was stalling for time. However, King Lu ignored Honchkrow's attack and directed Charizard to continue chasing ahead. Taking out the trainer is the best way to resolve the fight. You should have Psychic. Can you use Psychic to control him? Looking at Zuyu, who was still running away in front of 330, Lu turned to Fan-Sia and asked, well, my current Psychic can only control him briefly. Fan-Sia nodded. After the battle just now, there is not much Psychic left in her body, and the intensity is not as strong. It can only be blocked slightly. This is enough, King Lu nodded slightly. This is enough. Seeing King Lu's confirmed nod, Fan-Sia opened her tightly closed eyes, released her Psychic, and attacked Zuyu in an instant. An invisible force enveloped Zuyu's body. Zuyu and the Crobat flying with her suddenly stopped in the air for a brief moment. However, Charizard seized the opportunity in this short moment. Honchkrow, stop it for me. Feeling the hot flames behind her, Zuyu quickly directed Honchkrow to block it for herself. Gaga. After receiving Zuyu's instructions, Honchkrow didn't dodge and went straight into the flames. Use your own body to block Charizard's flames for Zuyu. Teacher, you actually let Pokemon block damage for you. Looking at the scene in front of her, Fan-Sia was stunned. She never expected his teacher, the former Alliance elite, he actually let his Pokemon block fatal damage for him. Boom. The flames instantly engulfed Honchkrow. When the flames dissipated, a Honchkrow whose whole body was charred began to fall downwards. Charizard, resident, seeing this, King Lu's face turned livid, and he directed Charizard to fly down and catch Honchkrow. Pokemon's lives are very tenacious. The fire just now did severely damage Honchkrow, but he can still be saved as long as he is rescued in time. Fire Dragon. After receiving King Lu's command, Charizard gave up chasing Zuyu and began to fly downwards. His huge claws directly grabbed the falling Honchkrow. It can still be saved. I have potion spray here. You use Psychic to get it up, King Lu told Fan-Sia. There is no need for Pokemon to bear the responsibility for the trainer's fault. He is still very willing to save her. Fan-Sia was slightly stunned, but she didn't expect that King Lu would choose to save his teacher's Pokemon. This move won her favor. With that said, Fan-Sia released Psychic and controlled Honchkrow onto Charizard's back. Looking at the familiar face in front of him, Honchkrow let out a sad low sound. Fan-Sia is Zuyu's former student. Naturally meet Honchkrow. If it weren't for his master's fate, he wouldn't want to be an enemy of Fan-Sia. Don't worry, Honchkrow, you'll be fine. I'll treat you right now. Looking at the injured Honchkrow, Fan-Sia sprayed potion spray on Honchkrow while shedding tears. These potion sprays can only temporarily stabilize Honchkrow. If you want to get good treatment, you have to go to the Pokemon Center to receive formal treatment. On the other side, Zuyu, who used Honchkrow to delay himself, had successfully landed on the ground. You can't run away. On King Lu's side, he also caught up with Zuyu and intercepted him. Your Excellency Fan-Sia, please take Honchkrow to the nearby Pokemon Center first. Just leave this to me. After landing on the ground, King Lu told Fan-Sia just leave the rest to him. The first priority is to save Honchkrow. Fan-Sia hugged Honchkrow and looked at Zuyu with some confusion. Then he jumped off Charizard's back and headed towards the nearest Pokemon Center. Use your own Pokemon to protect yourself from harm. Xiaoya must be very disappointed in me. Looking at the background of Fan-Sia leaving, Zuyu also had a complicated expression after all. Fan Sia was also his former student. Humph, what does it matter, as long as I survive? 1.5 Zuyu, who was still feeling guilty just now, suddenly turned a little crazy and started laughing. Ever since she betrayed Alliance and joined the Dark Association, she was no longer her teacher. Come out, Absol, Houndoom, as he spoke. Zuyu took out 2 Pokeballs from his pocket and released them, accompanied by a flash of red light from 2 Pokeballs, and Absol and Houndoom appeared in front of Zuyu. Boy, don't think you are the only one who has the power of Mega Evolution. The power our Dark Association has is beyond your imagination. Zu. You took out 2 Mega Evolution potions and injected them into Houndoom and Absol. Period. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 129, Fierce Battle. With the injection of Mega Evolution Potion, 2 lights of evolution burst out from Houndoom and Absol. Wrap Absol and Houndoom. This is Mega Evolution. Looking at the scene in front of him, King Lu was slightly startled. He didn't expect that the other party also had the power of Mega Evolution, and the way of evolution is different from his. Waiting for the light of evolution to dissipate, 2 brand new Pokemon appeared in front of King Lu. Ouch! Woof! Woof! Absol and Houndoom roared towards green after the Mega Evolution. This is not a normal Mega Evolution. Looking at Absol and Houndoom in front of me, the green color is a bit rough. Although these 2 Pokemon had completed Mega Evolution, he could clearly feel the violent aura coming from these 2 Pokemon, especially those Scarlet Eyes. Normal Mega Evolution does not have this situation at all. Ha ha ha. King Lu, now my 14 Pokemon have also completed Mega Evolution, and there are 2 of them. How can you defeat me? Watch the completion of Mega Evolution. Heguru and Absol. Zuyu thought he had a chance to win and laughed wildly. You can only stay alive and beat each other, so what if I sacrifice a Hansgrow? However, King Lu didn't have Zuyu, and then asked Zuyu with a gloomy face, "You experimented on Pokemon?" King Lu asked Zuyu. As the grandson of the famous professor, experimenting on Pokemon has reached his bottom line. What's going on? What can you do to me, Zu? You showed a cruel smile. 10 years is enough to change a person. The Alliance elite, who originally loved Pokemon, has turned into a person who uses Pokemon as a tool of revenge. As long as she can win and get revenge, she is willing to do anything. Charizard, Fire Spin. King Lu was too lazy to talk nonsense with him and directly commanded Charizard to attack. When the trip to Antarctica is over, he must find an opportunity to get rid of evil organizations like the Dark Association. With the green command sound falling, Charizard incited the huge dragon wings to fly towards. Soaring in the sky, the scorching flames attacked Zuyu in circles, trying to encircle Zuyu, Houndoom and Absol in the flames. HMPH, have you forgotten that my Houndoom is also a fire Pokemon? Houndoom, we also use Fire Spin. Facing Charizard's attack, Zuyu smiled disdainfully. This was no longer in the air, and there was nothing she could do about Charizard's attack. Following Zuyu's command, another hot flame spurted out from Houndoom's mouth. The pattern of the flames is exactly the same as the pattern of flames ejected by Charizard. Boom! A sound. 2 fire spins collided with one in midair, creating a powerful heat wave that dispersed in all directions. However, at this moment, Absol seemed to notice something and hurriedly jumped away from where he was. Bang! A sound. Just as Absol jumped away from where he was, a Super Iron Rhinoceros emerged from the ground. Unfortunately, Absol noticed the action of Super Iron Rhino in advance and avoided it, as expected of Absol, who can sense when disasters are happening. His perception is really strong. Seeing this scene, King Lu couldn't help but sigh inwardly. The purpose of having Charizard use Flamethrower in Soaring in the Sky is to use the flames to attract their attention. At the same time, he concealed his movements of releasing the Super Iron Rhinoceros. I just didn't expect that this Absol's perception was so strong that it was noticed in advance. He actually started a sneak attack. You are different from those in Alliance. Seeing this strange Pokemon, Zuyu's expression became a little serious. The rising star in front of her was different from the Alliance trainers she had seen. The action was too decisive. An encounter in the wild is an encounter in the wild, and there are no rules. If you need to make a sneak attack, make a sneak attack as long as you can win. Although Mega Evolution is strong, it is not invincible. Super Iron Rhino uses Earthquake, Kinglu once again commanded the Super Iron Crazy Rhino to attack Zuyu. Crobat, take me to fly quickly. Absol, Houndoom Dance Splash come. Upon hearing Kinglu's command, Zuyu quickly commanded his 3 Pokemon 967 to avoid Earthquake, a large area move. Charizard, use Flamethrow now. However, Kinglu didn't intend to let them go, commanding Charizard to take the opportunity to attack in mid-air. Absol had no way to dodge, and was accurately hit by Charizard's flames, falling to the ground. Crobat uses Air Cutter. On the other side, Zuyu was not to be outdone. Taking advantage of the fact that there were no Pokemon around Kinglu, he commanded Crobat to attack Kinglu. Seeing this, Kinglu wanted to dodge, but there was no way a human could be faster than Pokemon's moves. A blood mark appeared on the green cheek. Just the Super Iron Crazy Rhino looked at Kinglu with concern, full of worry. Don't worry about me. Super Iron Hunter uses Collision on Absol. Kinglu ignored the wound on his cheek and continued to direct the Super Iron Rhinoceros to attack. He has experienced too many injuries like this at the same time. Kinglu released the 3rd Pokemon, and a Ninetales appeared in front of Kinglu. Beware of the other party attacking him again. Period. Chapter 130, Escape. Boom. 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 After receiving Kinglu's command, the Super Iron Rhino no longer hesitated and rushed towards Absol. Absol uses Double Team to avoid him, then uses Night Slash. Kinglu's reaction was beyond Zuyu's surprise. She did not expect that this young man would rather be injured than win this battle, but Zuyu still reacted and immediately directed Absol to counterattack on the battlefield. Dozens of Absol figures appeared instantly to confuse the Iron Tyrannosaurus. For a while, the Super Iron Rhino stopped, not knowing which Absol was its true form. Super Iron Rhino calmed down and used Dig to lurk. Ninetales uses Flamethrower to find his true identity. Kinglu commanded the Super Iron Crazy Rhino and let the Super Iron Crazy Rhino lurk in the ground. Protect yourself from Absol attacks at the same time. Command Ninetales to release Flamethrower to attack these shadows and find Absol's true body along with the scorching flames. A scorching flame spurted out from Ninetales' mouth. The flame swept across Absol's Double Team, instantly destroying several Absol's shadows. Absol uses Whirlwind attack. Houndoom uses Dark Pulse. Zuyu directed Absol and Houndoom to attack, trying to eliminate the green Ninetales first. Ninetales carry it down. Super Iron Crazy Rhino uses Dig attack. However, what Kinglu is waiting for is now only when attacking will the opponent reveal its flaws. Following Kinglu's command, Ninetales stood in front of Kinglu without hesitation, using his own body to resist the attacks of Absol and Houndoom. At the same time, the Super Iron Rhino emerged from the ground and crashed into Houndoom's abdomen. Bang! 2 sounds. Ninetales and Houndoom were knocked away and fell to the ground. Fighting force. Damn. You kid, you are so difficult to deal with. Seeing Houndoom being beaten back to its original form and losing its ability to fight, Zuyu felt an unprecedented sense of oppression. This brat was stronger than anyone he had ever faced. Roar. At this moment, Charizard fell behind Zuyu and the Super Iron Crazy Rhino surrounded Zuyu one after another. You can't run away, Kinglu shouted coldly. He couldn't let go of this person. Hateful. Looking at Charizard behind him, a drop of sweat appeared on Zuyu's forehead. You are so sure that you can defeat me, eh? Playful smile appeared on Zuyu's lips. This boy is the strongest trainer she has ever encountered. Even she had never given him such a strong sense of oppression, but even so, it's not so easy to keep her. Charizard uses Flamethrower. Super Iron Rhino uses the unique Horn Drill. Kinglu was still the same as before, continuing to direct Charizard and Super Iron Rhino to attack. He prefers to prove himself with actions rather than nonsense. Charizard and Super Iron Rhino attack Zuyu one after another. Absol uses Cyclone. Crobat uses Air Cutter. Facing the attacks of Charizard and Super Iron Rhinoceros, Zuyu didn't panic at all and calmly directed Crobat and Absol to resist at the same time. Another Pokemon was released using the sight blocked by both sides' attacks, and Uos, in a place where Kinglu couldn't see it, a Greninja appeared next to Zuyu. Hey, Kinglu, Evergreen College, I remember it. Greninja uses Smoke, accompanied by Zuyu's command. Thick smoke suddenly rose from the scene, shrouding everyone in it. Cough cough cough. Ming Kinglu hurriedly covered her mouth and nose and coughed dryly at the same time. Charizard flapped his wings to disperse the smoke. When the smoke dissipated, nothing was left except the green Pokemon. Period. Chapter 131, Alliance News. You are not rival for both of us, let's capture him without mercy. The salamander after Mega Evolution is indeed very strong, but it is not a combination of him and Zhang Xianyu gradually began to fall into disadvantage. Roar. At this moment, a roar from Charizard attracted everyone's attention. Following the sound, they saw a Charizard they had never seen before soaring in the sky, and on their backs were Kinglu and Fansia. Behind Charizard, there was also an eagle. This is Mega Charizard. How can this be? She recognized this Charizard at a glance, with shock in his eyes. Isn't Mega Evolution the exclusive technology of their Dark Association? What's going on with this Charizard, and where is Zuyu? Didn't Zuyu go to intercept Fansia? Did you see Hishi? Alliance has more advanced Mega Evolution technology than you. Seeing Hishi's shocked look, Zhang Xianyu struck from the side. Although the Dark Association also possesses the power of Mega Evolution, but it's completely different from what Kinglu showed. The green one is to achieve the purpose of the Mega Evolution through the link between the key and the Mega Evolution Stone and the trainer's spiritual bond. Hishi's method is to inject potions into Pokémon. It is obvious that the green evolution method is the correct way to open Mega Evolution. Snort. Savage. Salamander, let's go. Seeing that things were beyond his expectation, Hishi drove the violent salamander away without hesitation. He has seen the strength of this young man named Kinglu. He is very strong. If you were surrounded by the three of them, it would not be so easy for him to leave. Don't leave. Seeing that Hishi wanted to leave, Zhang Xianyu wanted to catch up and stop Hishi, but he was stopped by Long Zhangyang. The Antarctic mission is urgent. Long Zhangyang told Zhang Xianyu the top priority is the Antarctic mission. Professor Zhangyang, an elite, he's in Yanhuang region, cannot afford to lose. After hearing Long Zhangyang's instructions, everyone once again set foot on the road to Antarctica. At the same time, several alliance presidents held a secret meeting again. Only the elite and champion presidents of our regions know about the Antarctic rescue mission. However, Aaron and the others were attacked by the Dark Association on their way to Antarctica. Everyone, I think you should be very clear about what this means, Xianlin said extremely seriously in the video. As soon as Aaron and the others set off on the front foot, the Dark Association on the back foot accurately intercepted Aaron and the others. It would be weird if there were no ghosts in their Pokemon alliance. A mouse actually got into the huge alliance. I can guarantee that there are absolutely no rats from the Dark Association in our East China war zone. Chen Wu was the first to express his stance. If they had entered the East China war zone, Kinglu's information would have been reported by the rats, so there are definitely more people who intercepted and killed Aaron. Neither do we in the West China theater. Please give me flowers. Zhirjqing also immediately stated that she also believed that there were no people from the Dark Association in their war zone. Neither did we. Neither do we in the war zone. The presidents of the other three war zones also stated that the elites and champions in their war zones were not from the Dark Association. I can understand you, but the fact is that our elite or champion is from the Dark Association. Starting from today, all regions, including our North China region, will begin to strictly investigate members of the Dark Association. Zero Xianlin shouted sharply. As the president of a region, he naturally does not want his subordinates to be members of the Dark Association. As president, he can understand this, but the fact is that one or more of them are members of the Dark Association. Maybe the Dark Association has penetrated the entire alliance over the years. It's hard to say. Okay, that's it for now. If you have any problems, please report to me. Xianlin rubbed his painful temples and ended the meeting. It's less than half a year until retirement. Aaron, just let me, teacher, do the last thing for you. After relaxing for a while, I looked at the calendar on the table. Xianlin whispered slowly, although he regretted that she joined the Dark Association, but I don't regret it at all. He has always judged people very accurately. After he retires, he believes that Yanhuang region will get better and better under the leadership of Aaron. Period. Chapter 132, Powerful Psychic. We're here, everyone, please be careful. The sun rose the next day. Under Yulong Qian's reminder, everyone slowly opened their eyes. What everyone sees is an endless expanse of glaciers and snow. Is it finally here? Zhao Ling rubbed her fishy eyes and jumped down from Dragonite. After 24 hours of flying, they finally arrived at their final destination, Antarctica. This is Antarctica. Looking at the endless 220 Antarctica, Ash sighed with emotion. This was the first time he saw such a place where everything was covered with snow. Let's Take a rest first and then look for the whereabouts of Kyurem and Articuno. Pryce suggested after a day and night of travel. Even his body was a little overwhelmed, not to mention these kids. We have already reached our destination, so there is no need to worry about the rest. Antarctica is so big. I don't know how long I will stay here this time. I don't know if Brother Green is here, but my Charizard is very much looking forward to playing against him. Ash said excitedly from the side. He has long wanted to have a battle with King Lu, especially after Kong Xian handed him his Charizard. Ash doesn't want to think about defeating Big Brother Green. Gary wasn't too optimistic about Ash. Although Ash's strength is very strong, in his opinion, there is no big gap between Ash and Lu. We won't give in so easily, right? Charizard. Ash took out Charizard's Pokeball and said to Charizard confidently. The Pokeball containing Charizard shook twice, seemingly responding to Ash. Sabrina, how far can your psychic feel? Can you find King Lu and the others? After a brief rest, Pryce asked Sabrina in the vast snowy field, if you want to find someone, you have to rely on Sabrina's psychic. I'll give it a try. I saw Sabrina closing her eyes tightly, and her body began to float in midair and release her super energy towards the surroundings to feel everything around you. Psychic spreads out in a ripple that is difficult to see with the naked eye, like ripples normal. Not long after, Sabrina slowly landed and shook her head towards everyone within the range of her psychic perception. The green group was not detected. Didn't find it. Seeing Sabrina shaking her head, Guliu frowned and murmured, their most important purpose in coming to Antarctica this time is to bring King Lu back safely. Next is Kyurem. I'll try to expand the scope. Sabrina nodded. Then take out a Pokeball from your pocket and press the switch to release it. With the Pokeball's red light flashing, an Alakazam appeared next to Sabrina. Alakazam, Mega Evolution. Sabrina showed off the Mega Evolution bracelet on her wrist, and the keystone in the bracelet resonated with a Mega Evolution stone on Alakazam's body. A milky light of evolution was seen surrounding Alakazam. Is this Mega Evolution? It seems to be necessary. Looking at the evolving Alakazam, Zhao Linger and Zhao Jin looked envious. They also want the power of Mega Evolution, but unfortunately they are too weak now. Kong Xian does not allow them to own or use it. After a while, 5.2 saw an Alakazam appearing in midair with several confusion spoons suspended around it. Alakazam, lend me your power. Sabrina instructed her Alakazam. Her psychic was born with her since birth. He has possessed a super psychic talent that others do not possess. In addition, she can also borrow the psychic of her own super Pokémon to strengthen her psychic. It is precisely because of this that she is not afraid of Yulongchun. Period. Chapter 133, Unknown Psychic. Following Sabrina's instructions, Mega Alakazam was seen controlling several confusion spoons, focusing all of his psychic on Sabrina alone. Suddenly, a powerful force burst out with Sabrina as the center. So scary psychic. I didn't expect psychic could be used like this. Zhao Jin's eyes were full of shock. As a member of the Yulong family, he naturally takes over as a trainer with psychic, but like Sabrina, this was the first time he had seen someone who could absorb superpowered Pokemon. Not long after, Mega Alakazam passed all psychic powers to Sabrina, causing his 14th body to degenerate back into his normal form. Sabrina levitates in midair again and releases her psychic circle after circle, like ripples. Normal's psychic was released by Sabrina. Unlike before, the psychic released this time has a wider range than the last time. Xiaoya, how far is the distress signal from us? On the other side, Long Zhangyang, who had just arrived in Antarctica, asked Fan Xiaya. About 300 kilometers to the east. The last distress signal was about 30 minutes ago. I guess the situation of Elite Zin and Professor Zhang Yang is not very good now. Fan Xiaya took out an instrument and kept debugging it. The location of Hizin's last distress signal was finally determined half an hour ago. Send a signal to Hizin Elite immediately and tell her our location. Long Zhang Yang was silent for a moment and asked Fan Xiaya to send a signal to Hizin to determine Hizin's current location and his current contest condition. Okay, I'll send it now. Fan Xiaya began to operate the signal machine to send a signal to Hizin. As long as Hizin receives the signal from them, he will definitely respond to them as soon as possible to confirm the latest news. However, at this moment, Fan Xiaya suddenly felt a powerful psychic coming over them. Fan Xiaya was stunned for a moment and looked in the direction where psychic was launched. There was confusion in his eyes. This is the first time since she was born that she has felt such a powerful psychic. What's wrong? Sensing something was wrong with Fan Xiaya, Zhang Yuan asked with concern. Psychic, From that direction, a very powerful psychic emanated. Cover everything here, you seem to be looking for something, Fan. Sia pointed in the direction ahead, her eyes a little dull, and replied calmly, and the direction she was pointing in was Sabrina's direction. Others can't feel it, but she also has psychic. You can feel this powerful psychic very clearly. A very powerful psychic. After hearing this, Long Zhangyang and Zhang Xianai looked in the direction pointed by Fan Sia. Only the green eyes sparkled. Guess who it might be? It seems that this trip to Antarctica is not going well. Long Zhangyang frowned. Just after setting off, we encountered an interception from the Dark Association, and now we have just arrived at Antarctica 867. Fan Sia noticed a very powerful psychic, and they seem to be still under this psychic surveillance. I seem to know the source of this psychic. At this moment, King Lu came over and explained, You know, everyone looked at King Lu and said doubtfully, if I'm not mistaken, the source of this psychic should be a teacher from our Evergreen College. King Lu explained to everyone yesterday. Kong Xian told him that he summoned another group of people. Among them was an old friend of his, that's Sabrina. Apart from Sabrina, he couldn't think of anyone else in this world with such a strong psychic. Period. Chapter 134, Are these people teacher from your school? Long Zhangyang and others exclaimed after hearing this. Fan Sia's psychic is known to them, and it can be ranked high in the entire Yanhuang region and even the entire world. The more powerful psychic that appears now is actually the teacher of Evergreen College. Well, it shouldn't be wrong, she should have found us too. If we wait for her here, the success rate of the search will be higher. King Lu suggested to everyone. Sabrina's psychic allows them to find the target more easily, and Sabrina can also play a big role against Kairam. I just don't know if Sabrina came alone or if others came with her. Long Zhangyang and everyone looked at each other, confirmed each other, nodded towards King Lu and said, Then let's wait here for half an hour. If no one comes in half an hour, we will continue to leave. Long Zhangyang said to King Lu half an hour was the last limit of time he could wait. If the opponent has psychic, then the Pokemon used must also be super-type Pokemon. Use teleport of super-type Pokemon if the opponent's target is theirs. Half an hour is enough for them to arrive. Found it. At the same time, Sabrina on the other side suddenly opened her eyes, and he had determined the position of King Lu. In addition to the green color, there are 3 strange smells around him. It must be someone from Alliance. Found it. Where is teacher King Lu? After hearing Sabrina's answer, Zhao Linger couldn't wait to ask, wanting to know where King Lu was. It's not far from our place. He's with the Pokemon Alliance people. Sabrina slowly fell down and replied the distance where King Lu was located was exactly the limit distance he initially perceived. It's not that far away from them. As long as he thinks about it, it's just a matter of teleport. Well, let's go meet King Lu now. Pryce nodded and said to Sabrina their first priority is to join King Lu and ensure King Lu's safety. Alakazam, use teleport and take us to the green side. Sabrina uses psychic to share with Alakazam. Lock on in the green position. Alakazam, land. Supplemented by Sabrina's psychic, Alakazam bounced back from its recent slump. A blue light bloomed from his eyes immediately afterwards. There was only a flash, and everyone disappeared in an instant. When he appeared again, he was already beside King Lu. The sudden appearance of Gary and others startled everyone. When everyone saw that it was Gary, they lowered their guard. So many kids. There are 2 more old men. Looking at these people in front of me, I frowned. To Yang, having children is nothing more than a burden. Brother. Green. Teacher, meet King Lu again. Is he the same as Wang Dehao, King Lu from another world? He really looks like him. Everyone greeted King Lu immediately when they saw him, and Yulong Kaian was also looking at the greenness of the world. If he doesn't look confidently, he will really mistake this green color for the green color of another world. King Lu, are these solid? Long Zhangyang asked King Lu. Among these people, he only knew Gary and Ash, and no one else. He wanted to know who was the owner of the psychic just now. Period. Chapter 135, The Aloof Sabrina. This is my brother Gary. You should all know him. This is his friend Ash. King Lu took the lead in introducing Gary and Ash to everyone. Hi, everyone, I'm Ash. I'm Gary. Ash and Gary waved to everyone and said hello. Your family's genes are really strong. It's unimaginable that they are not twins, but they look like this. Seeing how Gary and King Lu looked like they were carved from the same mold, Fan Xiao was amazed. If they were twins they wouldn't feel so weird, but they are brothers. The two brothers looked so similar, and this was the first time they had seen each other. Haha, haha, it's just that the genes in my family are relatively strong. Gary 690 scratched his head in embarrassment. He looks so similar to King Lu because he and King Lu are in the same position in different worlds when it comes to genetically powerful genes. He thinks no one can compare with the Joy family and the Juncha family. You must be Ash. That genius trainer Long Zhangyang crossed a crowd and came to Ash's side, asking Ash he must pay attention to such talents. These people are the hope for the future of their Yanhuang region. Well, I'm Ash. This is my partner Pikachu. Ash nodded and introduced himself and Pikachu to Long Zhangyang. Pika. Pikachu on Ash's shoulder also waved hello to Long Zhangyang. I watched your game. It was very exciting. What are your plans for the future, Long? Zhangyang asked Ash, wanting to know Ash's future plans. The future, after I return, I am going to the North China Theater to challenge the North China Alliance. Ash replied matter-of-factly after a moment of silence. According to his understanding of the 5 war zones in the Yanhuang region, the Northern War Zone is the strongest. In addition, King Lu also served as a gym trainer in the North China War Zone. He wanted to compete with King Lu. Challenge the North China Theater? Very good, I will wait for you to challenge. Hearing that Ash was going to challenge the North China War Zone, Long Zhangyang's eyes suddenly lit up. He patted Ash's shoulder and then said to King Lu, King Lu, please introduce the others. Long Zhangyang motioned to King Lu to continue introducing these people to him. Bebj, she is Sabrina. He was the one who released the psychic just now. King Lu looked around at the remaining people and began to introduce Sabrina to everyone. Very young. Upon hearing King Lu's introduction, everyone exclaimed, not because of anything else, but because Sabrina is too young. At first they thought it was these 2 old men who released such a huge psychic. No one expected that it would be this girl who looked younger than them. In the end, I'm 21, so I'm no longer young. Sabrina brushed her hair behind her ears and replied calmly she had no interest in these people. If it weren't for the principal's orders, she wouldn't even want to come to this place. If you have nothing to do, teach students in school, wouldn't it be good to make a movie and be the heroine? She had it all figured out at first. If nothing goes wrong in school, she will return to her old job and become a part-time actor. She prefers being an actor than a trainer or teacher. As a result, the plan couldn't keep up with the changes, and this happened. I was also chosen by the principal and assigned to this world of ice and snow. Ahem. Midori, please introduce the others to me. Sabrina's attitude made Long Zhangyang feel a little embarrassed and didn't know what to do next. He coughed twice and asked King Lu to introduce others to lighten the atmosphere. I control the dragon Xian. This is Claire, my people's dragon. Before King Lu could speak, Yulong Xian and Yulong Claire took the lead in introducing themselves. Period. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 136, The Terrifying Pryce. Are you from the Yulong family? After hearing Yulong Xian's introduction, King Lu secretly thought in his heart of course he knew Yulong's origin, but he had never seen the old man next to him. Unexpectedly, he turned out to be a member of the Yulong family. Yulong Xian, Yulong Chun. I wonder which family the old gentleman belongs to, the Liu family, the Zhu family, the Li family, or the Zhao family. Long Zhangyang asked him. Think Yulong Xian is a member of the Yulong family in their world. My husband's surname is Yulong, and he is not from any of these 4 families. Yulong Xian shook his head and said, the last name is Yulong. After hearing this, Long Zhangyang, Fan Xiao and others looked at each other, full of confusion. Does their Yanhuang region have the surname Yulong? In addition to the Liu family, Li family, Zhu family, and Zhao family, they also have the power to control dragons. King Lu explained slowly. What? They actually also have the power to control dragons? Long Zhangyang seemed to have heard something unbelievable, and looked at Yulong Xian and Yulong Claire with wide eyes in disbelief. The Liu family, Zhao family and other families have the power to control dragons entirely because their ancestors were once emperors of the Yanhuang region. In the words of Yanhuang region, they all have dragon energy in their bodies. Therefore, The power of dragon control was awakened, but how did the two people in front of them awaken the power of dragon control? You will naturally know my origin in the future. The top priority is to find the people you are trying to rescue and cure them. After the mission is completed, we can go back to school and report back to the principal. Yulong Qian answered from the side. He also wanted to complete this mission and return as soon as possible. As a dragon trainer, not only is his Pokemon not used to it, but he personally doesn't like this kind of ice and snow environment. Kyurem is a legendary Pokemon with very powerful destructive power. When the time comes, Kinglu and I will come to hold them back, and you can rescue them. At this moment, Gu Liu, who had not yet spoken yet, gave instructions to everyone. It is true that he has captured Ho-Oh and Lugia, but only he understands the danger involved facing a creature like Kyurem. One must not take it lightly. Kinglu, who is this old gentleman? Long Zhang Yang asked Kinglu curiously. From what this old man said, it seemed that he was a very strong trainer. Gu Liu, everyone calls him Pryce, good at using ice-type Pokemon, very strong. At least I'm not rival. Kinglu set her sights on Gu Liu and introduced Gu Liu to everyone. Kinglu almost said the last sentence through gritted teeth, although he didn't want to admit it. There was indeed a gap in strength between him and Gu Liu. Not just him, I believe Long Zhengyang, who is known as the strongest champion in the Yanhuang region, is also the same. What? 0.0 stronger than you? After hearing Kinglu's settlement statement, Zhang Xianayu pointed at Gu Liu in disbelief. He knew Kinglu's strength. Even if they join forces with the East China Theater Elite Four, they will not be the green rival. And Kinglu actually said that she was not the rival of this old man in a wheelchair. Then how strong this old man must be, isn't it that level? Long Zhang Yang looked at Kinglu, seeming to confirm something. Since Kinglu said he is not the old man's rival, it can only be explained that the old man's strength has reached the legendary realm that no one has ever entered. Seeing Long Zhang Yang's gaze, Kinglu immediately paid attention and nodded. It's actually true. Long Zhang Yang was extremely shocked at this moment. It turned out to be the legendary realm that no one has ever entered. Chapter 137, Distress Signal. Aaron, he's in elite, has sent a signal again. Just when Long Zhangyang was shocked, Fan Xia interrupted Long Zhangyang's thoughts. Just now she received another distress signal from He's in elite. Very good. Where is she now? Hearing Fan Xia's exclamation, Long Zhangyang could only temporarily put aside the shock in his heart and asked Fan Xia. Now they received a distress signal 560 from He's in that proves that He's in and the others are still alive. The situation is not good. She is now 30 kilometers away from her previous location. Fan Xia's expression was a little serious. In just half an hour, He's in elite's position changed by 20 kilometers. It can only mean that he is facing a huge threat now, otherwise, it would not have moved so much distance in such a short period of time. It seems that He's in situation is not good. We have to get there as soon as possible. Xiaoya releases your Pokemon and takes us there. Realizing He's in's danger, Long Zhangyang no longer cared about Shiliu and the others immediately command Fan Xia to release her Pokemon. Although 30 kilometers is a bit far, if they use teleport, they can reach Fan Xia in just a few times. Come out, Goth you tell. Fan Xia nodded, took out a Pokeball from her trainer's belt, and released it accompanied by a flash of red light from the Pokeball. A Pokemon wearing something like a gothic dress appeared in front of everyone. This Pokemon is none other than Fan Xia's gothic lady. Miss Goth, please use teleport to take us 30 kilometers in this direction. Fan Xia pointed to the location ahead of He's in and asked Miss Goth to take them away. Goth. Miss Goth nodded, then closed her eyes tightly and released her psychic in an instant. Everyone present disappeared in a flash. However, Long Zhangyang didn't know that besides them, there was a group of people who intercepted the distress signal sent by He's in. Phew. Ice Bear, hurry up, they are catching up. At the same time, on the other side, a woman was lying on an ice bear, directing the ice bear to escape. This person is none other than He's in, the ice elite from the Yanhuang region, North China War Zone. The evening before yesterday, they came to Antarctica to investigate a mysterious Pokemon. Here they meet the mysterious bird Pokemon. She swore that she had never seen such a beautiful bird Pokemon in her life. Just as they were preparing to capture this bird Pokemon and go back for research, just then, an accident happened. Ice Ice-type Pokémon arrive in Antarctica one after another. This is the first time all of them have witnessed the arrival of a Pokémon. This phenomenon has those Pokémon scholars excited. They felt that they might be able to discover the secret that no one had discovered for 300 years. However, an extremely terrifying mysterious Pokémon also arrived here. Not only does this Pokémon have a violent temper, it also has the ability to command other Ice-type Pokémon. It's like this 3.7 Snow King normal. Damn. What kind of monster is this? Why hasn't the rescue come yet? Looking at Cryogonal, who was about to catch up behind him, Ozin couldn't help but become anxious after a day and night of running away, let alone her. Even her Pokémon were getting too much. If she hadn't been stronger, she would have just laid down like the others. Period. Chapter 138, Kyurem's Pursuit. Cryogonal flew into the air, and rows of ice spikes appeared around its body, hitting Xian with the wind and snow. Xian directed the ice bear to avoid, but the ice bear's body has already reached its limit after running and escaping for a day and night. Although he barely dodged the rows of ice spikes, but because its physical strength reached its limit and it could no longer hold on, its heavy body fell to the ground. Xian rolled into the snow and looked back at Cryogonal. Sure enough, Cryogonal took advantage of this opportunity and came to her side. Although Cryogonal did not speak, Xian could still feel the oppression revealed by the other party. Xian's face was full of sorrow and she wanted to give it a try, but at this moment, the surrounding space distorted. Long Zhengyang and the others finally appeared here. Seeing that Xian was not injured, everyone finally felt relieved. When Gu Liu saw Cryogonal, he actually planned to hurt someone. He threw the Pokeball, and what came out of it was his trump card Pokemon Swinub. Swinub's potential momentum made Cryogonal afraid to take action. The body floated in the air and took a few steps back. Xian was not stunned and said to the exhausted ice bear, "Thank you for your hard work. Come back." The ice bear returned to the Pokeball, and she came to everyone. She worriedly told everyone, "Kyurem controls a lot of ice Pokemon. We can't stay here for long. We have to leave quickly." Long Zhengyang was a little reluctant not to leave. After all, he was a region champion. Of course, I want to see the world of top Pokemon. It would be too embarrassing to run away in such a dejected manner without even meeting him. As for the competitive spirit and adventurous spirit of young people, Gu Liu, as a person who has come before, is more calm. You're right, Kyurem, it's not easy to deal with. Since we have saved people, let's go back first and make long-term plans later. Where does Gu Liu's strength lie? Of course, no one refuted what he said. Sent Miss Goth, ready to use teleport, but at this moment, in the snow where there was originally only the sound of endless wind and snow, a long roar suddenly came. The growl of this Pokemon directly suppressed the sound of the wind and snow, seeming to slow down the wind and snow, and penetrated the heart and shocked the soul. Xian turned pale and said in panic, "Here we come." Cryogonal was originally afraid of Swinub and did not dare to attack easily. After hearing this long roar, it was as if a person saw his own backer and was instantly filled with courage. All I saw was that Cryogonal fired a burst of icicle spear, interrupting Miss Goth's teleport and causing everyone to scatter in all directions. Everyone glared at Cryogonal, but I discovered something else. Is this the snow? It seems to be shaking. Everyone is a top Pokemon trainer. Their perception ability is naturally not weak, and they will never admit their mistakes. They looked in the direction where the vibration came from. Only then did they realize that there were actually swarms of ice-type Pokemon coming towards them, flying in the sky and running on the ground. Of different types, even someone as calm as Gu Liu couldn't help but say, "Damn it, Long." Zhengyang was also shocked. Facing such a large group of Pokemon, it would not be easy to escape if they were caught in a wheel battle. At this time, a long roar appeared again in the air. I saw a huge creature flying in the sky, and it turned out to be Kyurem. "It's Kyurem," Xian said in a low voice. She had already spent a lot of energy, but she didn't expect that before she could take a breath, there was another battle ahead. Gu Liu also said worriedly, "Kyurem is a Pokemon that is very hostile to humans, so be careful." It's exactly what he said. Kyurem, who was hovering and soaring in the sky, didn't listen to anyone's explanation. The wings bloomed with white light, and two freezing rays shot out. Everyone fled in a hurry. Ash, who had kept his pet Pikachu with him but not in the Pokeball, had time to fight back. "Pikachu, use Thunder." Thunder is one of the unique skills of the electric system. I saw thunder suddenly falling from soaring in the sky. Kyurem could only stop attacking and hide aside. It was extremely fast and easily dodged Kyurem's attack. Gu Liu also asked Swinub to use freezing rays and rush towards the two freezing rays. Although Swinub is strong, it doesn't have any advantages against the legendary Pokemon Kyurem. What's more, both Pokemon are ice-type Pokemon, So there won't be any suppression in terms of familiarity. Boom. A sound. Swinub's freezing light collided with Kyurem's freezing light, and a burst of white ice mist erupted. The splashing ice slag hit the snow, instantly turning the soft snow into solid and even reflective ice bricks. If it had a group of them, they would probably be frozen into popsicles in an instant. So strong. You can actually be on par with this Pokemon? Is this really Swinub? Seeing this scene, Hizin was filled with horror. Others don't know the strength of this Pokemon, but she does. Facing this Pokemon, he had no power to fight back, and the old man in a wheelchair in front of me can actually command Swinub to be on par with this Pokemon? Is this really a state that humans can achieve? Is this Pryce's strength? It's really amazing. On the other side, Ash was also shocked by Pryce's strength. He met Kyurem once when he was in the Unova region. In the end, if Kyurem hadn't been moved, they wouldn't have been against the people at all. Long Zhangyang's eyes were on fire, and he was aroused to be warlike. Since it is so strong, it can only be tricky. He threw a Pokeball, and what came out was the fire-type Pokemon Roaring Tiger. This is already the top form of evolution, and can be considered a high-level Pokemon, and in Long Zhangyang's opinion, the Roaring Tiger, as a fire-type, should be able to restrain the Ice-type. Kyurem 217 used the Flame Belt, following Long Zhangyang's command. The Scorching Flame Roaring Tiger used a unique move, and a jet of flame shot out from its waist. The people on the site even felt that the biting cold had dissipated a little, but facing the flames soaring into the sky, Kyurem's eyes were full of disdain. All I could see was that Kyurem spread his wings and roared loudly. Ghoulie realized something was wrong and reminded, it's sheer cold. Everyone use Pokemon defense. He just finished speaking. A white shock spread with Kyurem as the center. After the fire dragons that rushed up touched the range of the white aperture, they were directly destroyed by sheer cold. Long Zhangyang hurriedly said to the Roaring Tiger, get away quickly, but it's too late. Just as the Roaring Tiger was about to escape, the halo of light spread over and enveloped her inside. Sheer cold is extremely powerful, especially when Kyurem uses it himself. The flame Roaring Tiger's flames were immediately extinguished and it was frozen into an ice sculpture. Long Zhangyang couldn't accept it and said in shock, how could this happen? And the scope of sheer cold is intended to cover everyone. Ash saw something bad and immediately threw Charizard. The huge and mighty Charizard appeared and roared. His invincible momentum made the ice Pokemon retreat involuntarily, but Kyurem was not afraid and was still glaring at everyone and soaring in the sky. Chapter 139. Surrounded by Pokemon. Charizard, use big character Pyroblast. Charizard roared, spit up flames, huge flames with large characters, dispelling the effect of sheer cold and protecting everyone. Ash's Charizard is so powerful that it can even fight against some mythical beasts. At this moment, the huge body stood here proudly. Even Kyurem did not continue to attack, but hovered around everyone. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Long Zhangyang said arrogantly, this guy is really a power trip. If he can be caught by me, it will be a big help. After hearing this, Ghoulie on the side showed a faint smile. You know, he is a person who has captured a mythical beast, and he has the most right to say anything about the risks of capturing a mythical beast. In his opinion, this young man really doesn't know how high the sky is and how high it is. Kyurem's ability is so powerful, it's easier said than done to catch him. At this time, Kinglu said, we have to find a way to get out of here, otherwise, we will not be able to fight Kyurem in this extremely cold place. Everyone nodded together. Someone has summoned a Pokemon with teleport, but when Kyurem saw their actions, it was already extremely hostile to humans. How could you let these guys break into your own territory and then leave so easily? Kyurem roared, and instantly all the ice Pokemon surrounded him. Although Ash's Charizard is huge, it seems a bit stretched when facing so many Pokemon. Charizard, who is usually very domineering, couldn't help but take 2 steps back. Ash looked calm and whispered, with so many enemies, Charizard is under a lot of pressure. At this time, a Pokeball was thrown out, and an equally huge body appeared. It's the Green Mega Evolution Charizard. The two Charizards stand together, and the normal Pokemon is definitely not an enemy. Green looked resolute, looked at the Pokemon in front of him, and said loudly, you all stand down. Green and Ash are both people who love Pokemon. Except for regular battles, they will not easily fight to the death with Pokemon, but these Pokemon heard Green's reminder and had confused looks on their faces. Although some Pokemon among them really don't want to fight, however, Kyurem is an ice beast and has an innate suppression of them, so he just hesitated for a moment and still pressed towards everyone step by step. Hizin was overturned by Kyurem's storm before and fell from the ice bear. At this moment, he was covering his chest and asking everyone around him, "What should we do now?" But in the face of such a situation, who can make a decision? King Lu watched the Pokemon approaching. Not wanting to kill these ice Pokemon, you can only give the order to Mega Evolution Charizard and let him use Flamethrower to turn into a Fireball to try to stop these ice Pokemon in front of him. Ash also learned from him and let Charizard use Flamethrower. Although some weak ice Pokemon cannot get past Flamethrower facing the raging fire, they looked frightened and did not dare to approach at all. They could only stay where they were. But not all of this group of Pokemon are weak. I saw Mamoswine standing up. This thing has extremely strong defense, so it is naturally not afraid of Flamethrower. He rushed directly through Flamethrower's defense. A Pokemon rushed into the crowd and everyone was in chaos. Even with his usual behavior, Long Zhangyang, the most high-profile champion of the Yanhuang region, could only escape. After all, it is really not a wise idea to stop such a large Pokemon with a human body during this period. He did not only focus on escaping for his own life, but forgot about his Pokemon. Long Zhangyang threw the Pokeball while running away, and took back the frozen roaring tiger. Hizin saw that something was wrong, so he threw a Pokeball, and an Alola Ninetales appeared. Alola Ninetales has icy blue hair all over her body and is very beautiful. To match it, she also has super strength. I only saw Alola Ninetales and Mamoswine fighting together after entangling this wild Pokemon. No one was hurt. When Kyurem saw Hizin's figure, a flash of Lucas flashed in his eyes. Although he was still hovering and soaring in the sky, he was vaguely approaching Hizin. Everyone was busy dealing with other ice Pokemon, and no one noticed this, and just then there was a sudden violent vibration on the ice surface. If they hadn't reacted quickly, they might all have fallen to the ground. Guliu looked carefully and saw that the two Charizards were constantly firing flamethrowers to prevent the ice Pokemon around them from approaching, so with them as the center, a circle was actually burned out, destroying the overall balance of the ice surface, so much so that the ice surface could not bear the weight, so it broke. At this moment, the ice surface under everyone's feet was all cracked. Long Zhangyang looked at the crack and said anxiously, "Are we going to be buried under the ice?" Gary joked inappropriately, "Then we will all become popsicles," but everyone did not regain their mood at all because of this joke. After all, life and death were at stake. Who could laugh? At this moment, Sabrina suddenly releases Psychic and uses Teleport to leave. However, everyone was about to leave this surrounded ghost place, but at this moment, Kyurem, who had been hovering and soaring in the sky waiting for an opportunity, suddenly swooped down. Kyurem's flying speed is not slow. Even though everyone tried to avoid it, it was too late. In the blink of an eye, it entered the crowd of people and actually grabbed Hizin with its claws. The purpose of everyone coming here is to save Hizin, and of course they want to stop him, but it was too late. I saw that Teleport was used successfully, and everyone disappeared in an instant, as if they had never appeared. Only the messy snow left evidence of their existence. Kyurem saw that these prey had disappeared, but he was not angry, because for it, the one it holds in its hand is the most useful, and Guliu and the others, after a burst of light, had appeared on another piece of snow. Except for the wind and snow, there is not a single Pokemon here, so it is obviously a safe place. However, everyone has also discovered that Hizin was suddenly caught by the Kyurem while teleporting, so it was not transmitted with him. Period. Chapter 140, Return to Save People. Ash is a person who pays great attention to the team and said angrily, "Hizin was caught by Kyurem." Everyone looked sad. After all, the rumors about Kyurem are very cruel. Now Hizin, if a person falls into its hands, the ending will definitely not be good. King Lu thought about it carefully, and then he said to everyone, "No, we absolutely can't abandon our companion. We have to go back and save him." Although others have also seen how powerful Kyurem is, not only is it very powerful on its own, but it can also command other ice Pokemon. If you really go back like this, it will definitely be a disaster, and you will definitely not be able to take any advantage. However, Ash, Gary and others among them are full of justice in their hearts, so even if there is danger, they will never be afraid. Others also felt that what King Lu said made sense, and Richry agreed to go back to save people. Although Long Zhangyang was injured by the roaring tiger, as a champion, of course he would not leave alone and agreed to go back. Linger, use the Master Ball given to you by the principal when necessary. At this moment, Guliu turned around and gave instructions to Zhao Linger in the ice and snow. Kyurem is the king of ice and snow, stronger than the Lugia and Ho-Oh he captured before. Its This really okay, Zhao. Linger weakly took out the Master Ball that Kong 430 Xian gave him. The Kyurem just left a deep impact on him. Zhao Linger doubted that this Pokeball could really capture that monster. Yes, as long as it hits, Master Ball can capture Kyurem. Pryce nodded. This Master Ball was given by Kong Xian, so there will be no mistakes. I see, Zhao. Linger nodded heavily and held Master Ball's hand tighter. Sabrina. Let's get started. After arranging Zhao Linger, Ginata gave instructions. Sabrina nodded knowingly, released Alakazam, and directed Alakazam to use teleport to return to the previous place accompanied by a burst of space fluctuations. They are back where they were before again, but when they used the teleport skill to return to the previous snowfield, but I found that there was no trace of any Pokemon here, let alone Kyurem. Gary said doubtfully, did we come to the wrong place? Could it be that we came out to send the wrong ones? But Alakazam is a highly intelligent Pokemon, so how could it go wrong? At this time, the careful Gulio said, we are indeed not in the wrong place. He pointed at the ground and said, look carefully at this piece of ground, Bedge. Everyone looked at what he said. All they could see was that there were still cracks on the ground that they had caused before and 2 Charizards, the traces left by using flamethrower. So this is indeed where they fought Kyurem before, but Kyurem has obviously left here, and took his in with him. Kinglu said, in that case, let's search nearby. Everyone agreed to come down and start searching, and at this time, his inside she was caught in the hands of Kyurem, flying in the cold wind. This strong cold storm made Izin feel very cold in her hands and feet, and her beautiful face was sore from the blow. However, this cold wind was unable to cause any harm to Kyurem, a powerful creature. All I could see was that Kyurem was flying flat in the strong cold wind. Soon, they arrived near a snow-capped mountain. Kyurem swooped down and threw Izin directly. Izin fell directly into the snow. Fortunately, the snow was soft, otherwise, Izin might be broken by a few bones. She rubbed her aching body and raised her head to look at soaring in the sky as expected. Kyurem did not leave, but flew around in a circle. Izin coughed in the cold. She was still very happy, at least this time. Being caught by this terrifying monster and still alive is pretty good, and Izin is not a fool. She can become the ice elite of the Yanhuang East China region, so she naturally has the brains and strength. Izin knew in his heart that the reason why this Kyurem did not kill him must be that he had some use value. She could only see her holding herself up and looking around. Sure enough, in the snow, an altar throne was discovered suddenly, which was obviously used to worship something. Izin murmured to Normal and said, could it be that this is an altar used to worship this Pokemon? At this time, she turned to look at soaring in the sky, but I found Kyurem somewhere in soaring in the sky. Kyurem has suddenly disappeared and gone somewhere unknown. Izin was confused. That strange beast brought him here inexplicably, and now it has disappeared. Although he knew that there must be something weird in this, for Izin, this was a perfect opportunity to escape. Only when Izin came to the edge of the snow-capped mountains did he realize that where he was a cliff. Although it is not as scary as the vertical 90 degrees, it is still difficult to go down. Izin swallowed. She knew it. Although it may be dangerous to go down, staying here is really a dead end. I thought of this in my mind. Izin climbed down without any hesitation, but at this moment, another crisp cry came from soaring in the sky. Izin's nerves were tense. Facing the sudden appearance of Growl, he thought it was Kyurem who had returned. She hurriedly looked back and realized that there was indeed a huge bird hovering in the sky, but this Pokemon is not Kyurem. Look around. All I could see was that this was a sapphire blue bird Pokemon with a well-proportioned body and long tail wings. It was very beautiful, Izin said in surprise. It's the bird Pokemon from before. This Pokemon was none other than the strange bird Pokemon they saw before, but Articuno knew that he was coming for Izin. Izin was shocked when she saw the giant beast rushing towards her, and couldn't help but think, is it really so unlucky? She had just injured Kyurem's attack and barely managed to save her life. Unexpectedly, there was now another Pokemon trying to attack her, but what made Izin have no idea was that the bird did not attack her. Articuno very gently grabbed Izin with his paws, then brought him to the cliff and gently placed him on the ground. Izin noticed that there was no hostility in the other party's behavior, and then felt relieved. Articuno took a few steps back and walked to the altar. Only then did Izin understand. It turns out that this altar actually belongs to Articuno. Sure enough, Kyurem didn't bring himself here for no reason. At this time, Articuno had also turned his head and stared at Izin curiously. It barked twice, and the sound was very gentle. Izin felt the kindness of this divine beast, which was much better than that of the ferocious Kyurem, and the reason why Articuno is so close to Izin, it's all because Izin, as an ice-type elite, has trained many Ice-type Pokémon. He had the aura of those Ice Pokémon on his body, so Articuno had no intention of harming him. Is your name Articuno? Feeling Articuno's tenderness, Hizen didn't know why he could call out this Pokémon's name. Tweet. Articuno nodded twice, not good. At this moment, Hizen's expression suddenly changed. The reason why Kyurem threw himself here was probably to lure this Pokémon out. Chapter 141, The Legendary Pokémon Showdown. The smart Hizen immediately said to Articuno in front of him, "Go quickly, there is danger here." As if to confirm Hizen's idea of normal, the words have just been spoken. Suddenly, there was a loud roar from soaring in the sky. Hizen has listened to this terrifying growl several times today and has long remembered it in his heart. She was shocked and looked towards soaring in the sky. Sure enough, Kyurem, who had mysteriously disappeared before, flew out again. Now it seems that Kyurem never disappeared before, but just found a place to hide. The purpose is to let Hizen and Articuno come out. As expected, Kyurem ignored Hizen and stared at Articuno. With a pair of cold eyes, it waved its wings, and 2 jet rays shot over. As one of the 3 holy birds, Articuno was not to be outdone. An extremely cold storm appeared around it, which directly distorted the freezing rays and resolved the danger. The battle between 2 top Pokémon made Hizen suffer. It is already very cold here, not to mention that there are 2 ice beasts fighting here. It even lowered the temperature by an unknown number of degrees. Hizen gathered up her down jacket and tried to keep herself warm, but this approach was undoubtedly a drop in the bucket. Although it has a little effect, it is better than nothing. By this time, Articuno and Kyurem had gone through several moves and were each enraged. And the moves they used were getting stronger and stronger. The wind and snow here have even increased a lot. The 2 mythical Pokémon were able to stand upright in the strong wind and snow and stabilize their bodies. But as a human being, Hizen could not withstand the wind and snow. You must know that she is on a cliff now, and the storm she will endure is much higher than that on the plains. A strong gust of wind was seen, making Hizen unable to stabilize his body and almost being whipped up. Fortunately, in the end, he just fell on the spot and rolled a few times, without being whirlwind. But Hizen got up from the snow and took a look. Only then did he realize that he had been blown to the edge of the cliff. Hizen's heartbeat couldn't help but speed up a bit. She said with some surprise, "Fortunately, I'm lucky, otherwise, if I fell, I would be dead." After speaking, Hizen immediately moved away from the edge of the cliff in order to avoid being blown down. Hizen came to the cliff and put her body close to the wall. In this way, the force-bearing area of the body is minimized, and the area blown by the wind is smaller, so it will not be overturned. Hizen could be seen rubbing his hands, letting out a breath of heat, and looked at the 2 mythical beasts. At this time, the battle between the 2 top ice beasts has already divided into high and low. I saw that Kyurem had the upper hand and suppressed Articuno. Although Articuno was not seriously injured, he was already beyond his capabilities. This Articuno is good to Hizen. Hizen couldn't help but worry when he saw that it was at a disadvantage. "Articuno, you must hold on." I could see that Articuno seemed to really hear the encouragement from normal. His body shook and he became majestic. It roared loudly and used its special move, Freezing Glare. Suddenly, intense ice rays emitted from Articuno's eyes, heading straight towards Kyurem. Kyurem wanted to dodge, but no matter how fast it was, it couldn't dodge Articuno's trick. Kyurem's wings were hid and he fell directly from soaring in the sky. Also falling on the cliff platform, the huge body lay motionless on the spot, looking as if it was dead. Hizen's cherry mouth opened wide, with a look of shock on her face. Is this what distinguishes high and low? The powerful Kyurem was suddenly defeated by Articuno. Seizing the opportunity, although Hizen saw it with his own eyes and was looking forward to this result in his heart, but there are still some who can't believe it because it would be too easy to win. Kyurem is extremely powerful. How could he lose so easily? And Articuno is just a Pokémon that has always stayed away from the crowd, so it naturally doesn't understand what treacheries. It could be seen that it just recovered from its injuries, and then walked to Kyurem to see if Kyurem was dead. But at this moment, Kyurem, who had fallen to the ground, suddenly stood up. Articuno tried to avoid it though, but the distance between the 2 Pokémon is so close. Kyurem suddenly burst out, and Articuno had no time to dodge. I only saw Kyurem, using the simplest headbutt with his stronger body, he knocked Articuno down in the snow. Kyurem pursued the victory, spread his wings, and faced Articuno with a blast of freezing light. "Please give me flowers." Even if Articuno resisted desperately, it was already a step too late. All I could see was that snow and frost appeared all over Articuno's body first, followed by ice cubes. Soon, the entire Pokémon Articuno was frozen and turned into an ice sculpture. Looking at this sudden change in front of me, Hizin was completely stunned. When she came to her senses, she realized a problem. The reason why she was caught by Kyurem was that her life was not in danger. It was because Kyurem planned to assist her and trap this Articuno. Now that Articuno has been captured by Kyurem, she has no use value. What is waiting for Hizin is probably death. 0.0 Realizing this, Hizin did not dare to be idle. All I saw was that she summoned Alola Ninetales. Because Kyurem defeated Articuno, he was now in a state of joy, flapping his wings and roaring. At other times Hizin took advantage of this opportunity and let Alola Ninetales rush towards the frozen Articuno. Alola Ninetales, use Iron Tail to break the ice. Alola Ninetales lives up to expectations, with 9 tails slapping towards the ice. Its power, coupled with the Articuno in the ice, originally planned to break out of the ice. The combined strength of the two easily shattered the ice. When Kyurem, who was originally happy, saw this scene, his face showed an anthropomorphic rage look. Its eyes full of murderous intent looked at Hizin, who was aside, obviously feeling angry that this little prey that he didn't care about actually ruined his victory. Kyurem suddenly flew up, flapped his wings, and charged with freezing rays towards Hizin. Hizin looked at the freezing ray in front of him and knew that he couldn't avoid it. Just when I don't know what to do, I saw Jodong Neo suddenly rushing over. All the freezing rays hit Articuno. Fortunately, Articuno is a mythical beast with a strong body, and it is an ice Pokemon, so it withstood the damage and did not die. However, Articuno was also seriously injured and let out a mukbang sound. Hizin did not expect that Articuno would actually take the freezing ray knife to protect himself. Period. Chapter 142, The Terrifying Kyurem. All that was seen was that Articuno barely managed to steady his body and glared at Kyurem in front of him. Hizin looked at the stubborn Articuno and felt heartbroken. Articuno is now injured in its prime. It couldn't beat Kyurem. There's no way it's Kyurem's rival now, so if you still insist on it now, you are simply seeking death. Hizin knew this in her heart, so she said at this moment, stop fighting, you will die. But Articuno paid no attention to it and continued to confront Kyurem. Seeing that he could not persuade this magical beast, Hizin gritted his teeth and had no choice but to give it a try. Hizin said, in that case, let me help you. Alola Ninetales came to Hizin's side, obviously gearing up and preparing for this battle. But even that is with the addition of Alola Ninetales for the powerful Kyurem. 820 is just a weak ant. This is unlikely to have much impact on the battle situation. All I could see was that Kyurem roared and looked very impatient, obviously wanting to end this battle quickly. Hizin has already done research, and Kyurem obviously wants to use Glaciate. The power of this move is not weak. If it is really hit by then, she and Articuno may not be spared and will be frozen into ice sculptures. Hizin looked at Articuno and said, such resistance is meaningless. We have to escape. Articuno finally reacted. It turned around and glanced at Hizin. Hizin threw the Pokeball and directly collected the Alola Ninetales into the Pokeball. In this way, as long as you enter the Pokeball, at least you will not be affected by Kyurem's Glaciate. After doing all this, Hizin looked at Articuno. Although he didn't speak, but Articuno also understood what Hizin meant. But as a mythical beast, it certainly can't hide in a small Pokeball so easily, so it shook its head. At this time, it was seen that Kyurem's power had almost been gathered. A burst of white light erupted from its body, and an extremely cold storm blew over. In an instant, the originally soft snow turned into hard ice bricks in an instant after being blown by this gust of wind. To put it bluntly, anything on this cliff will turn into an ice sculpture if it is blown by this gust of wind. Although Hizin had been mentally prepared for a long time, seeing the power of Kyurem's Glaciate, Hizin was still surprised. This was much more powerful than the Pokemon she had seen before. Hizin admitted that Kyurem is indeed the top ice Pokemon. At this time, Articuno faced this powerful move, but the beast's stubbornness did not let it choose to give up. Articuno rushed forward and actually fought against the storm. Articuno is also an ice beast, so it has not been frozen for the time being, but this storm, although helpless, was able to freeze Articuno. However, after approaching Articuno, Icicle Spear appeared out of thin air. These icicle spears are made of sheer cold Glaciate, and their sharpness is no worse than the Oreburgh blade, and driven by the storm, the power became even stronger, and all of it hit Articuno in a short period of time. Articuno was covered in injuries and looked very dangerous. This Articuno helped Hizin many times. At this moment, Hizin looked at Articuno. How could he endure being attacked like this? All I saw was that she shouted sadly, "You enter the Pokeball first," but Articuno still didn't respond, just trying his best to resist the storm, but it still didn't help. But the injuries on his body were still increasing. Hizin didn't want to watch Articuno lose his life in front of him, so although Articuno hasn't agreed yet, but she pulled out the Pokeball anyway. Hizin looked at Articuno in front of her and said, "This is the only way I can help you." After saying this, she threw the Pokeball towards Articuno. Although Hizin uses a high-tech ball, but Articuno is a mythical beast after all, so how could it be caught so easily? So the Pokeball just hit Articuno, and then lost its effect. Hizin looked disappointed. It seems Articuno is still unwilling to enter the Pokeball, but in its current form, even Articuno is not frozen, but there are already so many injuries on his body with the current contest conditions. It is simply impossible to win Kyurem, so if you don't enter the Pokeball, you'll be dead. I saw Hizin take out another high-tech ball and throw it towards Articuno, but it still failed again. Meanwhile, Kyurem has exhausted Articuno. Hizin looked at this ferocious Kyurem, but there was an anthropomorphic smile on Kyurem's face, which was very sinister, as if his evil plan had succeeded. This injured Articuno is no longer Kyurem's rival. It roared and fired freezing rays from its wings. This time, the freezing ray still fell on Articuno, but it's not the same as before. Previously, Articuno forcibly received the freezing ray in order to save Hizin, but now, it's because the injuries on its body are too serious, so it can't be avoided at all. Articuno, who had already suffered numerous injuries, was hit by a freezing ray. All kinds of injuries were added together, and no matter how strong Articuno's spirit was, it couldn't bear it, and it fell directly to the ground. Hizin cried sadly, "Articuno!" Then she ran up to Articuno. All that was seen was that Articuno had fallen to the ground and was dying, looking like he could no longer hold on. Hizin took out the Pokeball and said to Articuno, "You have done your best now. There is no need to continue to hold on, just recuperate first." Although Articuno wanted to refuse, he struggled to get up from the ground. "But even if I try my best, my body seems to be out of control now." In the end, he fell to the ground because his injuries were too serious, and finally passed out. Hizin really couldn't bear it, so he threw the Pokeball in 3.2. This time, Articuno did not stop him and was successfully subdued into the Pokeball. Kyurem didn't expect that Hizin would actually do this, and now all the ducks in his mouth have flown away. It was filled with anger, all of which was focused on Hizin. Hizin had no way to deal with the roar of this behemoth, but at this critical moment only the space was seen twisting. It turned out to be Ash and his group, who happened to arrive here with the help of Alakazam's teleport. Kyurem was angry when he saw more people breaking in, and was about to release Blizzard, but after Ash and others found Hizin, they did not relax and immediately activated teleport again, and the group disappeared again with Hizin. Only Kyurem, the only Pokemon left, stayed where he was, staring blankly at the blank snow in front of him. Period. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 143, Overwhelm the Enemies. This is simply a shame for Kyurem. Then it looked up to the sky and roared, and Articuno, which it had finally lured out, just disappeared. It flapped its wings, leaped into the air, and began to chase Xiaolinger and his party at the same time. Ash and the others, led by Alakazam, had appeared on another piece of snow. Liu asked Hizin, "Are you okay?" Hizin told everyone about Articuno protecting her. Everyone was extremely envious when they learned that Hizin had conquered the legendary Pokemon Articuno. King Lu said calmly, "Let's leave this ghost place quickly and return to the Yanhuang region. Then Kyurem won't chase us." But he had just finished speaking. A ferocious voice came from the air. "Do you think you can escape?" Everyone looked in the direction of the sound, and it was Kyurem catching up. Kyurem used spiritual communication and said to everyone, "No one of you can leave today." Liu immediately released Delibird, and King Lu also released Charizard, allowing it to Mega Evolve. Charizard has evolved again. 14. Seeing this scene, Hizin was shocked again. This was the first time he saw Charizard evolve again. They have incredible power. Just take a good look at them. Long Zhang Yang patted Hizin's shoulder and comforted him. When he first saw Mega Evolution, his heart was similar to that of Hizin. By the way, where is Professor Zhang Yang? Do you know where he is now? At this moment, Long Zhang Yang asked. In addition to rescuing Hizin, this mission also involves Professor Zhang Yang. Professor Zhang Yang, speaking of this, Hizin's eyes began to turn red. Professor Zhang Yang and the others were all frozen into ice sculptures. Hizin almost cried when she said this. When Kyurem first appeared, He attacked them among all the people. He was the only one who managed to escape by relying on the ice bear. Is this so? When Long Zhangyang heard this, his heart sank after losing Professor Zhang Yang. This time they lost the Yanhuang region at the same time. On the other side, Guliu released Swinub and Kinglu released Charizard, who were already fighting with Kyurem. Kyurem snorted coldly, used Freeze Fist, and rushed directly towards Charizard. The green Charizard's whole body burned with flames and rushed towards Chen Kyurem. Boom. There was a loud noise. I saw the green Charizard falling downwards like a kite, normal with its string broken. Freezing ray. At this moment, following Pryce's command, an extremely cold beam of freezing light shot out from Swinub's side. The extremely cold laser beam directly froze Kyurem. Ash saw this opportunity and immediately said to Pikachu, "Good opportunity, use thunder." Pikachu understands this and is not afraid of the tall Kyurem. Even though he is short, I saw it rushing forward and roaring. Pikachu. Suddenly, a bolt of thunder and lightning fell from soaring in the sky, hitting Kyurem directly, and the ice exploded when the current dissipated. Kyurem was obviously injured. Everyone cheered. In the previous match against Kyurem, there was no hope of victory at all, but now it seems that we finally have a chance to deal with this vicious beast. But their resistance also succeeded in angering Kyurem. All I saw was that Kyurem said in a very angry tone, "You weak guys, you can't defeat me." After saying these words, Kyurem's body bloomed with white light, and its huge body was shrouded in it, so that people could only see a blurry figure. Everyone was surprised. Is Kyurem actually going to evolve? When the light dissipated, everyone only saw that Kyurem had turned into black. His body had obviously changed, and his aura had become more ferocious. Kyurem roared, and his powerful aura even frightened the Pokémon for several kilometers around him. The Pokémon in the snow involuntarily moved away from the area where Kyurem was. Everyone looked panicked. I didn't expect Kyurem to be able to evolve, the well-informed Guliu said. This is not an ordinary evolution. This is Kyurem merging the power of Zekrom and becoming Dark Kyurem. Gu Liu looked ugly and said worriedly, "I'm afraid its power has been improved a lot, so it's not that easy to deal with." Everyone knows Guliu's ability, and those who can capture the divine beast feel that this Dark Kyurem has become stronger. That would probably be a qualitative leap for them. I saw the Dark Kyurem, and said in a very angry tone, "Today, I will kill you all here." Everyone felt the murderous intention of Dark Kyurem, and for a moment, they didn't know what to do. Dark Kyurem walked over step by step, completely ignoring Charizard of Mega Evolution. Mega Evolution Charizard rushes forward to block it. However, Dark Kyurem used a skill to easily repel Charizard. The gap between the two can be judged immediately. Only darkness was seen. Kyurem said, "You weak ants, just die here." At this moment, Xiaolinger stood up. Kyurem was confused. Even the strong Charizard could not stop him. Why did this little girl dare to stand in front of him? Kyurem said, "Can't you wait to die, face?" The threat of Kyurem. Xiaolinger said she wasn't afraid, but that was a lie. After all, she was just a young woman, but at this time, everyone was in danger, so she also wanted to stand up and help. Xiaolinger has never been willing to be a burden, so no matter how powerful Dark Kyurem is, she plans to help. And when she dared to stand up, she had her own preparations. Xiaolinger could only see that she clenched the Master Ball in her hand and said in her heart, "I hope the Master Ball given by 373 Kong Xian is really effective." In fact, Xiaolinger has never used Master Ball, so now she relies entirely on her trust in Kong Xian to stand up regardless of the danger. All I could see was that Xiaolinger said to Kyurem, "It's still unclear who will win and who will lose. It would be too early to say that I will die now." Kyurem heard Xiaolinger's words and immediately laughed. How powerful he is! Why can't he defeat an ordinary woman? I only saw it say, "In that case, then I will let you see the power of Dark Kyurem." After saying that, it plans to activate its skills. Xiaolinger felt the terrifying aura in front of her, and knew in her heart that once she let Dark Kyurem release his skills, he would be dead. So we must stop this giant beast no matter what. She no longer hesitated, and at this critical moment, she threw the Master Ball in her hand. Kyurem couldn't help laughing when he saw that the other party was planning to throw a Pokeball to subdue him. How could such a powerful mythical beast be conquered by the Pokeball developed by humans? This is really ridiculous. It laughed and said sarcastically, "Just this little Pokeball? That's really wishful thinking." But soon, Dark Kyurem stopped laughing. This Master Ball hit Kyurem in an instant. A beam of light burst out, bringing Kyurem into the Master Ball. Period. Chapter 144. Long Zhangyang's shock. Conquer, seeing the scene in front of them, Long Zhangyang and others were all dumbfounded. This terrifying Pokemon was tamed by this girl. What the hell is this Pokeball? What are the origins of these people? Seeing Kyurem being subdued by Xiaolinger, Zhang Yang began to doubt the identities of Qinglu and others from the green information he found. He didn't find any doubts, but there was always a question in his heart. It is impossible for a boy with such strong strength as Qinglu to remain unknown. Why is it only starting to appear now? Who are they? And what is the identity of the principal Kong Xian? Question after question kept running through Long Zhangyang's mind. Evergreen College has a big problem. In the end, Long Zhangyang came to such a conclusion: I actually conquered this Kyurem. At the same time, Xiaolinger also looked at the purple Pokeball that fell on the snow in disbelief. I didn't expect that this Pokeball could actually catch any Pokemon. Who the hell are you? Long Zhangyang held the Pokeball in one hand, ready to release it at any time, and took a step forward to question Pryce and others as the strongest champion of Yanhuang region. He is the successor of the next president of Yanhuang region. These people have threatened the safety of Yanhuang region. He must ensure the safety of Yanhuang region even if it means death. I won't hesitate. Don't be nervous, little friend. You can ask His Excellency Kong Xian about our origins, but one thing you can rest assured is that we are not interested in your regime or the Yanhuang region. Pryce pushed the wheelchair forward silently and said lightly, if they wanted to, they could easily control the world with their strength, but they have no interest in any of this. Teaching students is what they should do when they come into this world. What happened to Ren? Zhang Xianai walked to Long Zhangyang and asked in a low voice. Long Zhangyang ignored Zhang Xianai and continued to stare at Pryce, seemingly sensing something was wrong. Xin also held her Pokeball in one hand, ready to fight at any time. Kyurem has taken care of it. Let's go. Pryce didn't seem to be affected at all, pushing his wheelchair towards everyone, ready to leave. Come out, Dragonite, Altaria. After receiving Pryce's instructions, Yulong Claire and Yulong Qian released their Pokemon without any hesitation and prepared to leave here. Ash, Gary, Linger, Zhao Jin, let's go. After getting ready, Yulong Qian saw that several children were still dazed and called them to leave to Jethra. Coming, Zhao Linger, who had not yet realized what was going on, was stunned for a moment, picked up the Master Ball with Kyurem on the ground, and quickly sat on Altaria's back. Seeing this, Ash and others hurried up and prepared to leave together. Chirp. Following Altaria's call, Pryce and others began to return to Evergreen College. Sorry, Qinglu, who was still in the same place, nodded apologetically towards Long Wanli. Then he rode on Charizard's back, following Pryce and others. Originally, after this incident was over, he, Zhao Jin, was going to serve in the North China War Zone, but Long Wanli's hostility prevents him from going to the North China War Zone to serve as a gym trainer. Aaron, what should we do now? Looking at Qinglu's leaving figure, Zhang Xianai asked Long Wanli about Aochen. First, take the bodies of Professor Zhang Yang and others back. When I return to the Yanhuang region, I will personally visit Evergreen College. Long Zhang Yang replied somewhat helplessly. He had to find out the secret of Evergreen Academy. The strength of these people is terrifying. Chapter 145, Closing is over. Who at the same time, in the calm mind room of Evergreen College, Kong Xian slowly opened his eyes. After 2 days of calm mind, he felt that his psychic had made a qualitative leap. Alakazam, how do you feel? Kong Xian slowly landed on the ground and asked Alakazam, who was practicing with him. Alakazam, land. Hearing Kong Xian's call, Alakazam stopped. Calm Mind opened his eyes and nodded towards Kong Xian. After the past 2 days of Calm Mind, its mental power has also made a qualitative leap, and its strength has improved a lot. I don't know if Pryce and the others are going smoothly or not. Kong Xian thought to himself. The only thing he was worried about was Xiaolinger and the others 520 inches. Alakazam, let's move on. After thinking for a moment, Kong Xian decided to continue Calm Mind to improve his strength. Ling. Ding ding. At this moment, Kong Xian's cell phone suddenly rang. Kong Xian picked up the phone and saw Erica's name appear on the phone. Seeing Erica calling in, Kong Xian frowned. Before he practiced, he specially arranged for Erica not to disturb his practice unless there was anything important. Now that Erica calls him, something important must have happened, otherwise, I wouldn't bother him at this time. Erica, what happened? After picking up the phone, Kong Xian asked Erica to ask soon. Erica's voice rang from the phone. Director Feng from the Education Bureau just called, and the president of the East China War Zone is coming to visit our Evergreen Pokemon Academy. Erica said on the phone just now. Feng Yi, director of their Suzhou and Hangzhou Municipal Education Bureau, called and told them that Chen Wu, president of the East China Theater, was coming to visit our Evergreen College. Chen Wu, what is he here for? After Kong Xian heard this, he was slightly stunned and didn't know what the president of the East China Theater was going to do in their academy. I don't know. The other party will arrive tomorrow. Director Tang asked us to prepare for the reception in advance. Erica shook her head and said on the phone, the president of a war zone has an extraordinary status. They are just a Pokemon Academy. Even if they have some secrets, they should not get up in person. Beef, well, I probably know what he's going to do. Kong Xian was silent for a moment and explained to Erica he suddenly remembered that King Lu had told him before that he had used the power of Mega Evolution in the previous competition. Chen Wu came here this time, most likely for the secret of Mega Evolution. Here, Erica, please make arrangements and I will leave the house at night. Kong Xian told Erica Chen Wu won't come until tomorrow. He can still practice all night tonight. Well, I understand. I'll prepare something for you if you want to eat. On the other side of the phone, Erica bumped her ear and asked softly. It turned out that she didn't know what it felt like to be in love, but now she finally knew what it felt like to be in love. I can do anything, as long as you do it. Kong Xian smiled slightly and said, it seems not bad to have a girlfriend. I'm waiting for you. Erica replied softly, by the way, is there any news about King Lu and the others? Just when Erica was about to hang up the phone, Kong Xian asked King Lu about their news. There is no news from them yet. Don't worry. With Pryce here, they will be fine. Erica answered truthfully. King Lu and the others have been heading to Antarctica for 2 days, and no news has come back yet. The two chatted for a while before hanging up the phone. Something big must have happened to give in. Chapter 146, Chen Wu's Visit. Early the next morning, Kong Xian and many teachers were waiting for the arrival of Chen Wu at the gate of Evergreen Pokemon students. Also this morning, Kong Xian received a call from Xiaolinger. From the call with Xiaolinger, it was revealed that a mysterious Pokemon that appeared in Antarctica was Kyurem, but now he has been conquered by Xiaolinger using the Master Ball. You can go back to school almost tonight at the same time. Xiaolinger told him that when they left, Long Zhangyang, the champion of the Northern War Zone, became hostile to them. Tell him to be careful. Is that okay? Erica asked concernedly in Kong Xian's ear in a low voice. Pryce and King Lu are not in school right now. If Alliance has thoughts about them, they may be a little unstoppable with their current strength. Rest assured. Kong Xian gave Erica a reassuring look. Kyurem is in their hands now, and Chen Wu will not do anything to them. At most, they would just ask about King Lu and the others. I'm coming. At this moment, someone among the teachers waiting here shouted. Following the sound, I saw a black car slowly driving towards their school, and finally stopped at the entrance of Evergreen College. I saw Feng Yi slowly walking out with an old man. Apart from that, there are no other people. Ha. Director Feng, long time no see. This should be President Chen Wu. Kong Xian led a group of teachers forward to greet him. You are Kong Xian. You are indeed a talented person. Chen Wu walked forward and looked Kong Xian up and down. Originally, this visit to Evergreen College was just to ask about Mega Evolution, but this morning he received calls from Aaron and Zhang Xianyu. Aaron feels that there is a big problem with Evergreen College. Let him test it out more. Thanks for the praise from President Chen. Please come inside. Kong Xian smiled slightly and signaled President Chen Wu and Feng Yi to enter Evergreen College. Erica, you go ahead and do your work. I'll show President Chen and Director Feng around. Kong Xian motioned to Erica and other teachers to leave first, and he took Chen Wu and Feng Yi for a walk. There were only 2 people on the other side, and they didn't need too many people. After hearing what Kong Xian said, Erica hesitated a little. Kong Xian's strength is not as strong as theirs. If you encounter any danger, there is no way to counterattack or escape. Don't worry. Kong Xian gave Erica a reassuring look, saying that the other party would not do anything to him. Please give me flowers. At least they won't do anything to him at Evergreen College. Seeing Kong Xian's insistence, Erica gave up and left with the other teachers. Director Feng, please take a stroll first. I have something to say to Principal Kong alone. Seeing Kong Xian sending him away, Chen Wu also sent Feng Yi away and prepared to chat with Kong Xian alone. Yes, Your Excellency, President. After Receiving Chen Wu's order, although Fen Yi wanted to follow, he had no choice but to leave and wander around Evergreen College by himself. President Chen, please, soon. Only Kong Xian and Chen Wu were left on the scene. Kong Xian once again signaled Chen Wu to go to Evergreen College. Please, Chen Wu also motioned to Kong Xian to join him. The two started walking around the Evergreen Pokémon Academy. That girl just now is your girlfriend, right? After walking for a while, Chen Wu asked and began to test Kong Xian. The girl named Erica. Chen Wu specifically checked her information, but what surprised Chen Wu was that he didn't find any information about Erica. The same was true for Pryce, whom Aaron mentioned, but he also didn't find it. It's like these people just appeared out of nowhere. Period. Chapter 147, What If I Knew? After Kong Xian heard this, his footsteps suddenly stopped, and then he continued walking forward. He knew that Chen Wu was beginning to test him. Well, her name is Erica, and she is indeed my girlfriend. Kong Xian did not hide this relationship at all and admitted it openly. Ha, I didn't expect that Principal Kong actually has a girlfriend. I'm afraid countless girls will be sad about it, Chen Wu joked, then changed the subject. I don't know where this girl is from. A glint flashed in Chen Wu's eyes, and he asked Kong Xian in a questioning tone. I wonder where this woman came from. Even the president of his region could not be found. Erica comes from a place called Celadon City. Kong Xian stopped without any fear, looked back at Chen Wu, and answered truthfully. Since the other party is aware of it, there is nothing to hide. With their strength, there is no need to fear them. After confessing, it is for better cooperation. Celadon City. Chen Wu was full of doubts after hearing this because he had never heard of a city called Celadon City. I am ignorant. I don't know where this Celadon City is. Chen Wu continued to question Kong Xian, and now he also felt that there was a huge secret hidden in Evergreen College. Celadon City. Before we talk about this, Mr. Chen, do you still remember how Pokémon appeared in this world? Kong Xian did not answer Chen Wu directly, but changed the subject and asked Chen Wu about the origin of the aquamarine Pokémon. Of course I remember. 300 years ago, Pokémon crossed space and began to arrive in this world. At the same time, thermal weapons around the world were inexplicably affected and lost their effectiveness. The emergence of Pokémon has caused the death of countless humans. Although I don't know why Kong Xian asked this, Chen Wu still answered truthfully. In addition to being a region elite, he is also a Pokémon researcher. He naturally knows about things that have happened for 300 years, and he knows a little more than ordinary people. Then, where do these Pokémon come from? Does Mr. Chen know? Kong Xian continued to ask Chen Wu his questions. Initial speculation is that Pokémon may come from another world, but there is no conclusive evidence yet. Chen Wu was silent for a moment and replied, where does Pokémon come from? This question is the answer that all Pokémon scholars have been looking for the past 300 years. The most believable theory at the moment is that Pokémon come from a world or dimension unknown to them, but they have no conclusive evidence. None of the Pokémon scholars sent to the mysterious White Cave have returned. What if you say, I know? At this moment, Tianxian's voice suddenly sounded in Chen Wu's ears. What? You know? After hearing this, Chen Wu stared at Kong Xian with wide eyes as if he had heard some fantasy, a problem that no one has solved in the past 300 years. Kong Xian said that he actually knew it. How is this possible? 2.3 Chen Wu shook his head, feeling that Kong Xian was bragging. Let me tell you a story first. Seeing that Chen Wu didn't believe it, Kong Xian was going to tell Chen Wu about the origin of Pokémon. The first Pokémon in the world was Arceus. Regardless of how these Pokémon appeared, none of them will escape Arceus's settings, of course, except for the ultimate beast. Period. Chapter 148, Showdown. All ears. Although he didn't believe it, as a Pokémon researcher, he didn't want to miss any news about Pokémon. In a place called Sinar region, there is a legend. The entire universe was created by a Pokémon named Arceus. It is said that Arceus was born from an egg in the void and was the first Pokémon to exist in the world. In order to better manage the world, Arceus created the three Pokémon Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina. 14. Dialga and Palkia have the ability to control time and space respectively, while Giratina has the ability to control antimatter, which exists in another dimension and is also the reverse world. Then, at the beginning of the world, Arceus created Azelf, Uxie, and Mesprit, which respectively represent the will, knowledge, and emotions that coexist among modern humans and Pokémon. They live in different spaces known today as Lake Valor, Lake Acuity, Lake Verity and other lakes, and are called Lake Legendary Pokémon. Arceus also created the Adamant Orb, the Lustrous Orb, and the Griseous Orb, and then fell into eternal sleep. In addition, there are land masses such as Mt. Coronet in the world of Sinnoh. It is said that as the Regigigas moved across the land, various regions were formed. These are the world's first Pokémon. Kong Xian slowly introduced the origin of Pokémon in the Sinnoh mythology. Sinnoh region, Arceus, Dialga, Palkia, Giratina, space, time, reverse world. An unfamiliar word came out of Kong Xian's mouth. Chen Wu heard that it was a big deal. He had never heard of any of these things. President Chen, you don't seem to understand what I mean. Looking at Chen Wu's confused eyes, Kong Xian felt that Chen Wu didn't understand what he was saying. My dissatisfied little friend, what you just said is unheard of to me, even a bit unbelievable. Chen Wu answered truthfully. It's not that he didn't understand, it's just that what Li Xian said was too unbelievable. They speculated that Pokémon may come from another world, but the creation god, the Pokémon that controls the power of time and space, is indeed a bit unbelievable to him. It doesn't matter, you just need to know which world Erica and the others come from. Hearing Chen Wu's words, Kong Xian smiled slightly and directly told Erica's origin. What? She comes from another world? What Kong Xian just said is incredible enough. So what Kong Xian is telling you now is just a fantasy. Humans from another world, Pokémon, can come to this world. Why can't humans from another world come to this world? Kong Xian smiled slightly and said that he had already thought about how to explain the origins of people like Erica and Pryce. This, although Chen Wu didn't believe it, what he saw before him forced him to admit the fact. Grave, if you want to find out some information, don't take it too easy. But he couldn't find these people in Evergreen College using any means. Who are all the people from another world? How did they come and what are their strengths? Chen Wu lowered his voice and asked like Kong Xian. Since the other party told him this, there are only two reasons. One is either to deceive him, the other is to gain benefits from a showdown with him. But at present, the second possibility is more likely. Period. Chapter 149, Pokémon Holy Land. Hearing Chen Wu's question, Kong Xian smiled evilly. He knew that the fish was hooked. President Chen Wu almost believed what he said, except for Erica, Kinglu, Ash, Gary, and Pryce are all from another world. In their world, Pokémon have existed since ancient times, and their understanding of Pokémon far exceeds ours. It's just that the battle between Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina led to the destruction of their world, and they were sealed in the void. Only when certain conditions are met can I summon them to this world. Kong Xian fooled Chen Wu seriously. This is exactly the reasonable reason Kong Xian found for Erica, Pryce and others to appear in this world. Since Pokémon can appear in this world, why can't people from the Pokémon world appear in this world? Impossible. I have information on Kinglu, Gary, and Ash. Unexpectedly, Chen Wu retorted without hesitation after hearing this. He didn't have information about people like Erica and Pryce, but he had found information about people like Kinglu and Gary, and it's very detailed without any flaws. Haha, Your Excellency, President, have you ever thought that what you see is what I want you to see? Kong Xian chuckled, sighing inwardly. For the next day of the system, this seamless information is truly seamless. Even the president didn't see any clues. What do you mean? Chen Wu frowned and asked in confusion. Both Kinglu and Gary's information is fictitious. They are not from this world at all. Have you ever met a 14-year-old elite champion trainer? Kong Xian smiled slightly. This, Chen Wu was stunned when he heard Kong Xian's words before Ash and Gary appeared. He had never seen the 14-year-old elite or champion. Their talents are terrifying. In their world, when children turn 10 years old, some children will receive their first Eldervish Pokémon and go on adventure trips. That's why their talents are more terrifying. Kong Xian explained slowly. The legal age to own Pokémon in this world is 14 years old, while in the anime world it is 10 years old. There was a difference of 4 years. 10 years old. Chen Wu was a little shocked after hearing this. If he were 10 years old, he would feel a lot more balanced. Their Yanhuang region is vast and rich in resources. It's not like there is no 18-year-old Wei Kei. What on earth does this mean? Thinking of this, Chen Wu couldn't help but ask Kong Xian's purpose. If what Kong Xian said is true, Then these should be hidden secrets, but Kong Xian now told him everything. Chen Wui couldn't tell for a while whether what Kong Xian said was true or false, and what his purpose was. I want, Lise, to say that I am from the Yanhuang region and will not do anything that will harm the Yanhuang region. Kong Xian narrowed his eyes slightly and explained, telling Chen Wu this is nothing more than assisting Chen Wu to convey his purpose to the Pokemon Alliance. He really never thought about being an enemy of Yanhuang region. He just wants to run the school well and recruit more teachers, make the Evergreen Pokemon Academy a Pokemon Mecca. Other than that, there is no other idea. Period. Chapter 150, Second Master Level. So, all the knowledge you have is what they told you? Chen Wu narrowed his eyes slightly, shined with light, and continued to question Kong Xian. You could say the same thing. Kong Xian smiled slightly. Basically all of his Pokemon knowledge was mastered by himself through anime, comics, and games. It can also be said that it was handed over to them. No wonder I didn't expect things to turn out like this. Hearing Kong Xian's admission, Chen Wu suddenly realized that he finally understood why Kong Xian was so mediocre before. At the same time, Chen Wu was also glad that these people were all in the Yanhuang region, otherwise a world war might start here. I need to know more about them, Chen Wu said with a serious face. Since these people came from another world, he needed to know information about these people and their approximate strengths. 160. Of course there is no problem with this. Let's talk as we walk. Kong Xian laughed loudly and began to introduce the people he had summoned to Chen Wu. You should clear up the strength of King Lu, the strength of the top champion. There is no doubt about this. Kong Xian introduced slowly. Bifa. Well, King Lu's strength is indeed admirable. Hearing Kong Xian's words, Chen Wu nodded silently. King Lu's strength is obvious to all. Fighting alone, Jin Fipeng was crushed by him. 4 elites joining forces are not yet his rival. He had no doubts about King Lu's strength. Besides, Green, the one you probably want to know the most is Pryce. In their world, above the champion is the master. Pryce is a master-level trainer and has fought against Giratina. Kong Xian continued to introduce Pryce in the Pokemon world, although there is no clear division of levels, but according to the division of strength in this world, there is no doubt that Pryce is a master level. Chen Wu murmured after hearing this. When he listened to Aaron's report last night, he said that this man named Pryce was very scary, but what he didn't expect was that he was actually a trainer who had stepped into another realm. And according to Kong Xian, this Pryce has also fought against incredible Pokemon? That's right. The master level, also called the head level, is the most peak level of a trainer. Kong Xian nodded. Every master trainer is a person who can turn decay into magic. They can already ignore the race of Pokemon and even face legendary Pokemon. How many trainers are there at this level? Chen Wu asked in a low voice. Fortunately for King Lu, although their strength is that of a top champion, they can handle it, but this Pryce's strength is too terrifying. One is okay. If there are too many, I'm afraid it will be a disaster for the Yanhuang region, or even the entire world. After all, these people are from another world, and it is not necessarily the same as theirs. There are 2 people who can be sure, and at least 3 people who can't be sure. Kong Xian thought for a moment and replied, King Lu is not at the master level, so his rival Xiaobed probably hasn't reached the master level either, and Giovanni and Lance should still be close to reaching the master level. The specific strength of these 2 people will not be known until you meet them. Apart from Pryce, the only thing he can be sure of now is the Red. In the game world, everyone is also familiar with Red, who owns Charizard. Period. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.